want you to know that being a Christian doesn't mean you're a fucking three-piece suit toting, Bible fucking sporting, you know, whatever the fuck they got you thinking it is. That ain't it. So one of the reasons I'm talking very directly like this is for that exact purpose, to let everybody know that where all we've been scammed into thinking that Christianity is ain't that at all. So with that out, I want you to, you know, if you're not interested, just turn the dial, switch the station right away, because, you know, you're going to be offended, and I'm not out to offend you. I'm not out to offend anybody. You know, I don't want anybody to like lose their fucking bottle. And then the other thing is, I'm not out to convert you either. I don't give a fuck what your situation is, you know, where you're at. I'm not out there, you know, trying to help anybody. I'm not helping a fucking nobody. I'm just disseminating information. I'm telling people what I what God has turned me on to. And so it's important to know that I understand that if God wants you, He'll get you, and that's about as fucking deep as it is. You know, because we're dealing here with the most powerful force in the universe. We're dealing with the force that is able to do anything that can be done. We're dealing with the creator of the universe, and so I'm not worried about you becoming, you know, or you getting tied up to God, because I know already that God's got that part of it handled. You know, if God's into you, you'll get hooked up somehow. That I already know for a fact, because it all starts with God. You see, God just either gifted you with the interest of wanting to get closer to Him, or He didn't, and it's that fucking simple. It's that fucking simple. So a lot of shit's not in my hands. You see what I mean? Whether or not you get it, that's not in my hands. I don't have a fucking thing to do with that. All I'm doing is I'm telling you what God has turned me on to, basically. And God's turned me on to a guy named Dr. Gene Scott. That's the first fucking thing I want you to know. Because it's very important, because there's two messages that this guy, Dr. Scott, is telling the world that have to be repeated at all fucking costs. These two messages have to be repeated. One is about giving, the giving of money, the giving of goods in a relationship. I don't know if you've noticed this. This is like a little review on last week. But in any relationship, you'll notice that there's an aspect to the relationship where you're giving either your time or you're giving something. And in order for us to show God in a way that you can't fake it, you know, I could fake talking in tongues. I could fake fucking, you know, praying for you and all that shit. I could fake all that shit. Let me tell you what I can't fake: reaching into my fucking pocket. That I can't fake, because I'm not going to reach into my pocket for a fucking thing that I don't truly believe in. Let's start from there, buddy. Okay? So God already knows all that shit, and He knows how to separate the men from the boys, and He knows how to make it to where when you're related to Him, you get an opportunity to express, because He's in you. In Christianity, Christ actually lives inside of you. And because Christ lives inside of you, Christ being the way that He is, God gave His Son, Christ gave His life, a giver. You see what I mean? You have similarities, and one of the similarities is you give as an expression, a spiritual expression. And Dr. Scott, you know, has got the thing down to a science where, I mean, you either got to agree with him or you got to prove him wrong. If you don't have the nuts to go out and find a way of proving him wrong, and you know, and you don't have the nuts to agree with him, well, fuck it, I don't know. I don't give a shit. Anyways, that's the situation. The other message that he has that is unbelievably together and crucial. These two messages, he's the only guy that's ever put them together, in case you were wondering. And this other message is where I left off about Christ. Christ and the resurrection. It's called the resurrection.